What are your thoughts when facing an opponent?
There is no opponent.
So I'm sure everyone's familiar with this poem. It's called The Crooked Man. The reason I put this poem at the beginning of this video, it kind of applies to the video in more of the physical, but it also applies philosophically too. So if you haven't read it, be sure to read it. But let's get right into the video. Now here you have a typical female human being standing straight up and down. Basic posture. And here you have a gentleman who is just basically walking. Now I want you to notice how this heavier gentleman, how his body shifts and moves as he walks due to his weight. Look at how he settles into his stance. This is basic human movement. This is basic stuff. This is rudimentary. But I want you to note how these gentlemen get the full benefit of the extension of their legs in their stride. And I also want you to pay attention to how when they stop, how they settle into their stance, they're standing straight up and down. Let's take a look at 3 different variants of basic human posture. There's a common thread here. The common theme in this is that his legs are straight. Same with this young lady. Her legs are straight. Her knees are not bent. They're not poking out. Legs are straight. This is basic anatomy. Basic human posture, basic anatomy. But let's take a look at something here. This is footage from Madden 08. Now, if you really pay attention, a lot of the animations in this sequence looks very familiar. But we're going to pay attention to something in particular, and it's going to show you what lies at the heart of our issues. Let's examine these players here, for example. Look at their posture. Look at how they're standing. Both of these players have what I would like to refer to as this Kangaroo Syndrome. Now, for some reason, this is a staple of EA products. Let's look at Madden 09. Same thing. You still have players standing with this odd knee bend, Kangaroo Syndrome. And the knees look disjointed. It's not even knee pads. But listen to this. I'm not the only one that noticed this nonsense.
Will Madden ever make players that just stand straight up? Why they always have that bended knee look?
That was Shakedown 2012 when he was creating a player for Madden 15. You know, basic human anatomy. But let's look at one of EA's current products, NBA Live 16. Same thing. Look at Dwight Howard. Same Kangaroo Syndrome. But we're going to be fair here. We're going to look at some real players and see what they do. If they stand with their knees bent. I mean, really, honestly, you can stand up in your own home right now and you know you basically stand tall with your legs straight. You don't stand with your knees bent unless you have some sort of medical issue. But let's get to the core of this situation. You know, I understand that some people may be wondering, well, why are we talking about players standing? Well, let's get an understanding. Here you have a picture of a player and he's standing straight up and down. And this is just a basic base posture. Now, we're in the year 2015. Video games are far more advanced now. You know, when they motion capture a human being, they motion capture every little nuance they can to replicate basic human movement along with the advanced stuff. Now, here's the question. If you can't replicate something at its most basic level, basic posture, basic walking, basic running, then what's going to happen when you try to replicate the most advanced stuff? You're going to run into all sorts of issues like you see in Madden. That is the essence of our issue, is that we're dealing with this old code, this old game that looks old in motion. The game doesn't even look like a next-gen product when it's moving around. Oh, sure, the screenshots look great, but the game itself, when it's running, it looks old because we're dealing with old spaghetti code from yesteryear. That's why you get all these situations where people are talking about, you see how that player shifted into his spot, or you see how that player did that little weird skip or that little weird juke. It's because underneath it all, like you're seeing right here, is that bad posture engine, that bad code with those bad animations. And what happens is those animations interfere with the new stuff that gets layered on top of it. Let's take a look at basic running in Madden. Look at this mess. You have a wide receiver running and he can't even get out of his own way. His own feet are going through his legs. And then he slides at the end when he's about to dive. But then you look at this safety who's backpedaling. He's not so much as backpedaling as he is just back skating or side skating. It's really an atrocious look, and it really interferes with the immersion of the game. And then you got these players with these disjointed knees. It's not even knee pads. I don't know what's going on. And you mean to tell me that they can't go back in the studio in 2015 and fix this stuff? Look at this wide receiver coming off the line. He's not even pushing off his back foot as much as he's just kind of gliding off the line. And the problem is this, gentlemen. When you put this stuff next to a product, let's say like NBA 2K16, and you see this stuff happen, it makes the game just look horrible, and it makes it look even worse. Look at this. This same wide receiver goes into a cut and goes into this weird block animation, but look at what happens. Same thing, feet going through legs. That's why you see that a lot. When you get that shifting and moving, they can't even get just walking. Look at this guy walking. He looks so broken. But then you go over to the NBA, like I said, and they give you this marvel of a product where they show you that, yeah, you can have foot pivoting, foot planting, shuffling, hopping, skipping, jumping, and it looks great. So for anybody that says, oh, well, maybe they can't do it, these are players, this is basic stuff. Look at it. Look at how good this looks. Basic stuff. But we end up with stuff like this. Ice skating cornerbacks. Feet sliding and slipping. It's not even, you know, maybe you could excuse it if there was weather, but it's not even that. But then you throw in poor AI and poor physics and you get stuff like this.
Okay, we hitting the screen up. What the fuck? Are y'all seeing this shit? Like, this dude was just like, yo, put your arm around me, yo. We gonna have a threesome with this dude real quick. Like, what the fuck is going on?
That is just an absolute atrocity. And then you have these situations. You know, here you have Le'Veon Bell running the ball, and he doesn't get tackled as much as the two defenders just kind of keystone cop each other. They just gotta run into each other, and then you have one defender escorting Bell while he's still on his feet. You got Heath Miller on the other side. He sees two defenders coming in, and what does he do? Oh, well, you know what? I want no part of this. So basically, that whole play, he was useless. Number 99, he falls over dead because of this poor physics. At the core of all this, gentlemen, is that poor animation system coupled with these bad physics and bad AI. That's what we need to address. And when we remain silent, they will continue to give us a patch versus a full-fledged game. That's what we're getting. We're not getting a next-gen product, we're just getting a patch. So keep this stuff in mind, because I got a lot more. We're just getting started. Peace.